Let's see now. Half dragon, half turtle, half dragon, half fish. You know what? Let's just talk about dragons. Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here. For today's episode, I was asked by Nexon to look into their free-to-play MMORPG called Dragon Nest. I wasn't sure what to expect, but while doing research, I found the game to be a lot of fun. It's not just click an enemy and do a rotation, but rather actually fighting in real time. Think Diablo, but over the shoulder and super stylized. Aside from that, though, I found the plot revolves heavily around various dragons, and I thought to myself, I've covered half dragons, half turtles, and half dragon, half fish, so let's just go all-out dragon this time. So today, I'm going down the list of the top 5 nifty nods to medieval dragon lore in this game. Quick spoiler warning though, we will be talking about plot points of the game. Number 5. Not all dragons are magical, charming creatures that many stories make them out to be. In most cases, dragons of folklore have simply been brutal monsters. In Dragon Nest lore, the raid boss Leviatha is one such dragon. Serpentine and vicious, Leviatha was actually created as a mindless monster to be used as a weapon, and the most primal of the dragons in the game's universe. So too was the dragon's namesake. In the Old Testament book of Job, the Leviathan was defined with some rather terrifying details. Any hope of subduing him is false, the mere sight of him is overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse him. Who dares open the doors of his mouth ringed with his fearsome teeth? His back has rows of shields tightly sealed together, each one so close to the next that no air can pass between. I could go on, but let's just say there are 34 verses talking about how horrible and brutal this beast is. And when it comes to Leviatha, it seems to match up with the monster of scripture pretty close when it comes to ferocity and brutality. Number 4. The Black Dragon Velskud. According to what I found in the Oxford Dictionary of Superstitions, yes, that's an actual book, black animals tend to be referred to as being the absolute of that animal, an alpha of the species if you will. But the black dragon is not only top of its species, it's thought to be the most deceptive and evil compared to the other colors, capable of disappearing into shadow, stealing up any treasure or food it desires. Interestingly enough, this is pretty darn close to Dragon Nest's depiction of the Black Dragon too. In-game, the original Black Dragon was a perfect creation from the ancients and the most powerful of all dragons. Its evil and power couldn't be contained and went on a rampage that required 6 of the world's most powerful warriors to stop it. Velskud, now the newest incarnation of the Black Dragon, works in the shadows as a Black Knight to steal the power of the ancestor of the ancients, Rose. In both game and cultural context, both Black Dragons are not only evil by nature and the strongest of all dragons, but both are deceptive by their very nature, working in the dark away from the eyes of the world to reach their goals. Number 3. Argenta the Silver Dragon. A mysterious female warrior who assists you on the majority of your journey rescuing the ancient, Argenta is a fairly perplexing character. Although rather dismissive and rude in her interactions with humans.
Yes, let's waste valuable time talking. I'll see you if I wish to be seen. I see your incompetence hasn't cost you your life. Yet.
Her overall goal seems to be that of protection of the mortal realm. And how does this coincide with medieval lore? Quite close, actually. Silver itself symbolizes intellect, security, and maturity, and this wraps up Argenta's character quite nicely. Concerned for the plight of the world that you, the player, know so little about, and at the same time, talking to you and others as if they were children, not mature enough to understand the magnitude of the Black Dragon's threat.
Have you lost your mind? The Black Dragon will eat all of these mortals for lunch. This is our business, not theirs.
The world must stand united if we are to face this foe.
Says who? This will end in pain. Surely you can see that.
It's their fight as much as it is ours.
Fine, but whatever happens next is on your head.
As for the Silver Dragons themselves, they've had a unique connection to lady warriors, and while technically genderless, Argenta chooses the human form of a woman when interacting with people. Number 2. Jiran, the Gold Dragon. Leader of the original 6 heroes that sealed away the first Black Dragon, Jiran is the very definition of a righteous stalwart protector, while his golden dragon form gives off a vibe of a benevolent creature instead of an evil one. In parallel, gold has symbolism not only for wealth, but also masculinity and divine power. When Jiran fights, it's very obvious there's some sort of holy power emanating from him. But the larger connection comes from Jiran's dragon form and its close physical relation to the Chinese benevolent creature, Xiazhe, a dragon-like creature with the body of a lion and covered in scales. According to Chinese folklore, this creature had the power to always discern the innocent from the guilty, and eventually became the symbol of righteous justice. And personally, I think such a description really fits Jiran, who's been trying to bring justice against the Black Dragon's incarnations for years. Number 1. Lusters. These are the gems used in games to create stat-enhancing crests and weapons. However, these gems are also what house a dragon's soul and power. Humans merging with the dragon's luster grants them immeasurable power and even turns them into dragons. This is not so unlike traditional folktales. Dragon's blood and other aspects of their essence granted humans magical powers in these stories. For example, in Siegfried, a late 1800s German opera, Siegfried himself, after slaying a dragon, drinks its blood, which allows him to communicate with the forest birds. Interesting stuff, huh? And honestly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many interpretations of dragons in games that I could be here all month just talking about it. But for now, I think I'll close it here. But thanks for watching, everyone. If you're curious about more dragons in gaming, click here to check out how Splatoon's Rainmaker is more mythical than the game lets on. Or click here to see how the most iconic villain in gaming has a rather holy upbringing. But until next time, everyone, this is Gaijin Kumba, signing out.